Okay, so you guys sent us a ton of material on this one, and
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's pretty wild stuff.
Really interesting.
We're going deep on this upcoming total lunar eclipse and full moon happening on March 13th.
That's right. We're working with some insightful interpretations from astrologer Georgia Martin, and also looking at how this event is seen through the lens of different ancient cultures and spiritual traditions.
And it's not just about, like, oh, cool eclipse, right? This is being presented as a major turning point, potentially a huge shift, not just in the cosmos, but also in us personally and maybe even globally.
Definitely a sense of a big shift.
Yeah, so as we unpack all of this, our mission for you listening is to really get a handle on what this event is all about,
Uh,
what signs to look out for, and how all of this might actually play out in our lives.
I think that's a great way to frame it.
So let's dive right in. What is it about this specific eclipse on March 13th that makes it so potent?
Well, the source material really stresses that this isn't just any eclipse. It's a total lunar eclipse occurring during a full moon, and that combination is being described as a cosmic gateway or even a spiritual wake-up call.
Okay, cosmic gateway. That sounds pretty intense.
Well,
What's the significance of that?
Well, think of it this way. A full moon is already a time of heightened energy. Things can feel a bit amplified. Emotions might be closer to the surface.
Right, we hear that a lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then a lunar eclipse comes along, and it's like it throws a spotlight on those energies. It intensifies them, making us even more aware of what needs attention or change in our lives.
Like the universe is turning up the volume on everything that's already going on.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so let's unpack that gateway idea a little more. The source also talks about this eclipse signifying a shift, a change in our energy and how we see reality, even in our consciousness.
Yeah. It's like a cosmic checkpoint in a way. Like
Right.
we're being called to reassess where we are and where we're headed.
And this isn't a totally new concept, is it? Historically, eclipses have often been viewed as kind of like portals to the unknown times when the veil between dimensions becomes thin. What does that even mean in a practical sense?
Right. So that veil metaphor, it's a way of describing the boundary between our everyday conscious awareness and these deeper levels of reality, our subconscious intuition, maybe even other forms of energy or consciousness that we don't normally tune into.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture.
So when the veil thins, it's like the communication between these realms becomes easier. We might be more receptive to subtle energies, insights, even emotions or memories that are usually hidden just below the surface.
So it's like we're suddenly able to pick up signals we couldn't before.
That's a great way to think about it.
And this particular eclipse, according to the source, is really packing a punch. It talks about karmic cycles, spiritual awakenings, and intense vibrational shifts. There's this sense of destiny being accelerated with potential for breakthroughs, but also endings. What does intense vibrational shifts really mean in a way that we can wrap our heads around?
Right. So it's helpful to think of everything in the universe, including ourselves, as vibrating at a certain frequency. Like everything has its own energy signature.
Okay, I fully.
So when we talk about intense vibrational shifts, it means there's a change in that underlying energetic state. Like imagine tuning a radio to a different station. You're picking up a different frequency, a different energy, and this shift can show up in our mood, our thoughts, our physical energy, even how we perceive the world around us.
So basically, our whole system is recalibrating to a new frequency.
Exactly.
Now, the source also delves into the astrological explanation for this power, mentioning a unique alignment of the moon, the sun, and other key planets. It's not just a pretty sight up there, it's actually influencing us on a deeper level.
Absolutely. This specific alignment is seen as creating an intense energetic charge that can affect us emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. It's like a surge of energy that's rippling through the cosmos and through us.
And the source also points out that not everyone's going to experience this in the same way. Some might feel super energized and inspired, while others might feel completely overwhelmed or just lost.
Right. It's not a one-size-fits-all experience. Some people might be naturally more sensitive to these energetic shifts than others.
So it's really important to just pay attention to how we're feeling and not judge ourselves or compare our experience to others.
Absolutely. Self-awareness is key during these times.
Now, another key point is that lunar eclipses are known for revealing hidden truths. It's like that cosmic spotlight shining on those areas of our lives that we've maybe been avoiding or keeping in the shadows.
It's like all of a sudden we can't hide from ourselves anymore.
Right, our fears, past mistakes, even our hidden potential. Everything's illuminated.
And this particular lunar eclipse, it's being presented as both an ending and a beginning, a real turning point.
A fork in the road.
Yeah, exactly. The source suggests that those who are aligned with their higher selves, their truest, most authentic selves, will likely experience this time as a period of clarity and opportunity. They might even have profound insights or breakthroughs.
But those who resist the change, those who cling to old patterns and beliefs, might find themselves facing some pretty intense challenges.
Right? They might experience inner turmoil, emotional upheaval, or just this nagging feeling that something's not quite right.
Yeah.
It's like they're being pushed to let go, but they're holding on for dear life.
So it really underscores the importance of being open to change,
Yeah,
trusting the process, even when it feels uncomfortable.
absolutely.
Now let's talk about the full moon itself and its connection to the eclipse. We know full moons are generally associated with heightened energy and emotions.
Right. The full moon is often seen as a time of illumination when things come to a head. It's a time for release, for letting go of what no longer serves us.
And this eclipse is amplifying that full moon energy, making it even more potent.
Exactly. The source describes it as a cosmic reset button. It's like hitting the delete key on old energies, clearing the way for something new to emerge.
That makes sense. And it also explains why people often report feeling restless or extra emotional in the days leading up to a full moon eclipse.
Yeah, the source specifically connects those pre-eclipse feelings to shifts happening in the Earth's energy field. It suggests that this full moon is taking place during a time of significant energetic transition for the planet itself.
So it's like the Earth is going through its own process of adjustment, and we're all feeling the ripples.
Exactly. We're all interconnected, so it's only natural that we would be affected by these larger energetic shifts.
Now, the source also talks about this time being a period of energetic purge, which sounds pretty intense. What does that mean in practical terms?
Well, it's basically a clearing out of anything that no longer serves our highest good. This could include outdated belief systems, emotional baggage, even physical ailments. It's like a deep cleanse on every level.
Like a spiritual spring cleaning.
Exactly. And the source gives some pretty specific examples of what this purge might look like.
Yeah, like suddenly cutting ties with toxic people, feeling the urge to move, or even discovering hidden talents you never knew you had.
Right. It's like all these things that have been holding us back are suddenly coming to the surface so we can release them and move forward.
And it's not just on an emotional or mental level. It can manifest in our physical reality, too.
Absolutely. It can affect our sleep patterns, our energy levels, even our relationships. It's a time of major transformation.
The source also mentions a potential impact on our sleep and mental clarity, talking about things like waking up at odd hours, having intense dreams, or even experiencing vivid visions.
Yeah, it suggests that our subconscious mind becomes super active during these times, trying to process all these energetic shifts.
So if you've been having some weird dreams lately, this might be why.
It's possible.
The source even goes as far as to say that this event can restructure reality. That's a pretty bold statement. What does that actually mean for us?
It means that what we might have previously thought was fixed or impossible can suddenly become fluid and changeable. It's a time when we have a greater potential to shape our reality through our intentions and actions.
So it's not about just passively going through the motions. It's about actively participating in the creation of our lives.
Absolutely. The source really emphasizes the power of intention setting during this time. What we focus on, what we believe is possible, it all has a greater potential to manifest.
So it's like we're being given a cosmic blank slate to work with.
In a way, yes.
Wow, that's pretty empowering. Now, the source also delves into some ancient prophecies surrounding March 13th, which is super fascinating. What kind of historical perspectives does it bring up?
Well, it highlights how various cultures throughout history have viewed lunar eclipses as carrying profound significance. It specifically mentions the Mayan civilization, which believed that certain eclipses marked the end of one great cycle and the beginning of another.
Oh, wow, like a major turning point in history.
Exactly. And it makes us wonder, could this March 13th eclipse be a similar kind of turning point for us?
That's a big question to ponder. Are there other ancient traditions that had similar beliefs about lunar eclipses?
Yes, the source also references the Vedic texts, which describe lunar eclipses as moments of cosmic realignment. They believed these events could trigger what they called mass awakenings, where people start questioning their beliefs and their perception of reality.
It's interesting how these ancient cultures were so attuned to the cycles of nature and the cosmos. They saw these events as more than just random occurrences. They saw them as meaningful signs.
Exactly. And the source even brings up ancient Egyptian astrology.
Oh, really? What do they believe?
Well, according to the text, they believe that during certain eclipses, what they called the Gate of Re would open. This was seen as a passageway between the physical world and higher dimensions, potentially allowing access to hidden knowledge and spiritual truths.
Wow. So again, this idea of a portal or a gateway opening up during an eclipse seems to be a recurring theme across different cultures.
Definitely. And the source concludes this section by posing a really important question for us. Will we recognize the signs of this time and use this opportunity for growth, or will we just keep repeating the same old patterns?
That's a powerful question. It
Hmm.
really makes you stop and think.
It does.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about this concept of a quantum energy shift, which the source mentions a lot. What does that mean in a way that we can understand?
Well, it's basically the idea that this eclipse isn't just an astronomical event, it's also a powerful energetic transmission from the universe.
Like a cosmic download.
Yeah, kind of. The source suggests that the universe operates on different energy frequencies, and this eclipse is like a surge or release of a specific energetic code that can influence how we think, feel, and perceive reality.
Interesting. And does this connect at all to what science knows about the universe and energy?
It does, actually. The source mentions how scientific studies have observed that lunar cycles can have subtle effects on the Earth's electromagnetic field. And since we're also beings of energy, it stands to reason that these larger cosmic events could be influencing our own energy fields as well.
Okay, that makes sense. But the
Mhm.
source also emphasizes that this particular eclipse is different, even more potent than usual. Why is that?
Well, it's happening during a time of increased solar activity, specific planetary alignments, and what are described as surges in cosmic radiation. So it's like a perfect storm of cosmic energy converging at this time.
Wow. And what kind of effects might this have on us personally? The source mentions things like upgrades to our DNA and changes in our brainwave patterns.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff. The idea is that these accelerated energies could potentially activate dormant parts of ourselves. For example, changes in brainwave patterns might lead to more intuitive insights or enhanced creativity.
Like we're suddenly able to access parts of our brain we haven't used before.
Exactly. And the concept of DNA upgrades is more esoteric, but it suggests that our very biological blueprint could be evolving to resonate with these higher frequencies, potentially leading to greater resilience and a deeper sense of connection.
So it's like a cosmic evolution on a personal level.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
The source also mentions some more concrete experiences we might have during this time, like intense downloads of information, sudden bursts of creativity, or even that strange feeling of déjà vu.
Right. Those are all seen as signs that our consciousness is tuning into a higher frequency, that we're expanding our awareness and becoming more receptive to subtle energies.
Like we're suddenly able to pick up channels we couldn't before.
Exactly.
But the source also acknowledges that these shifts can be challenging. Sometimes we might feel exhausted or disconnected as our bodies and energy systems try to adjust.
Right. Change can be uncomfortable even when it's ultimately for our highest good.
So it's important to be patient with ourselves and allow ourselves time to integrate all these new energies.
Absolutely. Self-care is crucial during these times.
Now, the source also highlights what it calls the 7 unmistakable signs that we might experience leading up to this eclipse. These are like little clues that something big is about to happen.
Right. Like the universe is sending us little hints.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's the first sign we should be looking out for?
The first sign is a sudden shift in emotions. And this isn't just your typical mood swing. It's more like feeling unusually sensitive, experiencing unexpected bursts of joy, sadness, or even nostalgia.
Interesting. What's the explanation behind that?
Well, the source suggests that the eclipse's energy is stirring up hidden memories and unresolved emotions that need to be processed before we can move forward. It's like we're being called to face those parts of ourselves that we've been avoiding.
Okay, so emotional intensity is definitely something to watch out for. What's the second sign?
And the second sign is strange and vivid dreams. Our subconscious mind becomes super active before an eclipse, and these dreams can be full of symbolism, important messages, and even glimpses of potential futures.
Wow, that's pretty wild. What kind of messages or symbols might we see in these dreams?
It can vary from person to person, but the source encourages us to pay attention to recurring themes or images that stand out. We might dream of people from our past or receive guidance from spiritual beings. It's like our intuition is trying to communicate with us through the language of dreams.
Fascinating. Okay, what about the third sign?
Third sign is an increased sense of time distortion. This can show up as time feeling like it's speeding up or slowing down, or even days just blurring together. We might also experience more frequent déjà vu.
Oh, wow. I've definitely been feeling that lately. Like time just seems to be flying by.
It's a common experience during these energetic shifts. The source attributes this to the eclipse subtly altering the energetic structure of time itself, pulling us towards a new frequency where our perception of time might operate differently.
So it's not just in our heads, it's an actual energetic phenomenon.
That's the suggestion.
Wow, that's pretty mind-bending. Okay, so the source also talks about the night of March 13th to 14th being both dangerous and transformative. Why is that?
Well, it's considered to be one of the most energetically charged nights of the year, because that's when the veil between dimensions becomes thinnest. As we discussed earlier, this can make us more receptive to a wider range of energies, both positive and negative.
Okay, so that's where the dangerous part comes in. We're more vulnerable to outside influences.
Exactly. And the source also mentions a concern raised by some spiritual practitioners about what they call low-frequency entities, potentially influencing those who are energetically vulnerable during this time.
Okay, low-frequency entities. What does that mean exactly?
Well, it's a bit of a complex topic, but basically these are seen as energies that resonate with fear, negativity, and confusion. And when the veil is thin, it's believed that these energies can have a stronger influence on us, especially if we're not consciously protecting our energy field.
That's a little unnerving.
Yeah.
So what can we do to protect ourselves?
The source recommends engaging in practices like meditation, setting clear positive intentions, and surrounding ourselves with positive influences. It's also a good time to utilize any spiritual protection techniques that resonate with us, like visualizing a shield of white light or working with protective crystals.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not about living in fear, but it's about being mindful and taking proactive steps to protect our energy.
Exactly.
What about the transformative aspect of this night? What makes it so potentially powerful for positive change?
Well, the source presents this as a unique opportunity to rewrite our reality. The cosmic energy is so strong that it can accelerate the manifestation of our intentions, help clear long-standing karmic cycles, and unlock hidden knowledge and potential within us.
Wow, so it's like a supercharged time for personal growth and transformation.
Exactly. And it really highlights the importance of being conscious of our thoughts and intentions during this time, because whatever we focus on is likely to be amplified.
So it's a time to really dream big and visualize the life we want to create. Now, the source also talks about this time being a period of the Great Soul Purge. What is that all about?
Well, it's described as a massive clearing of old emotional wounds, karmic debts, and energetic blockages that have been holding us back.
Wow, that sounds intense.
It can be, but it's ultimately a necessary process for growth and evolution. The source suggests that in the weeks leading up to the eclipse, we might experience sudden confrontations with our past.
Like what kind of confrontation?
It could manifest in different ways.
Mhm.
We might have vivid dreams that bring up unresolved issues from our past. We might have unexpected encounters with people who trigger old wounds. Or we might just find ourselves suddenly feeling overwhelmed by emotions that we thought we had dealt with.
So it's like everything's coming to the surface so we can finally heal and release it.
Exactly. And this purge also extends to our relationships.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, the source says that toxic connections are likely to be tested during this time. Old bonds that no longer serve our highest good might break. And new soul-aligned relationships, those that truly support our growth, might emerge.
Wow, so it's a time of major shakeups in our relationships as well.
It can be. But it's ultimately about aligning ourselves with people who resonate with our true selves and who support our journey.
That makes sense. Now, the source also mentions a more mystical aspect to this purge, this idea of remembering our soul's true mission and seeing our path more clearly as illusions are wiped away.
Yeah, it's like we're being stripped bare of all the things that have been clouding our vision and preventing us from seeing our true potential.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah,
It really makes you question everything. Who am I and what am I here to do?
exactly. These are the big questions that this eclipse is inviting us to explore.
Okay, so let's talk about the moon's role in activating the pineal gland. What's the connection there?
Well, the moon has long been associated with intuition and psychic abilities, and the pineal gland, which is located in the center of our brain, is often referred to as our third eye, the seat of our intuition and spiritual insight.
Right, I've heard about that.
So the source suggests that during a total lunar eclipse, the intensified lunar energy can actually stimulate the pineal gland, potentially enhancing our intuition and opening us up to higher levels of awareness.
So it's like a cosmic upgrade to our psychic abilities.
In a way, yes.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And the source even suggests that this might be why so many people report having prophetic dreams or increased intuitive insights before and during lunar eclipses.
Yeah, it's like the veil between the conscious and subconscious mind becomes thinner, and we're able to access information and insights that are normally hidden from us.
So it's a good time to pay attention to our dreams and any intuitive nudges we might be receiving.
Definitely.
Now, the source also lists some potential physical symptoms of pineal gland activation that we might experience leading up to the eclipse. Things like a subtle pressure in the forehead or seeing fleeting flashes of light.
Yeah, those are often reported as signs that the pineal gland is being stimulated. It's nothing to be alarmed about.
Okay, good to know. And it also suggests that we can consciously work with this energy by engaging in practices like meditation and visualization during the eclipse.
Exactly. The more we can open ourselves up to this energy, the more profound the shifts and insights are likely to be.
That's exciting. Okay, so let's move on to this concept of the 1313 code that the source keeps mentioning. Why is this number significant in this context?
Well, in numerology, the number 13 is often associated with transformation, death, and rebirth. It's about the ending of one cycle to make way for a new beginning.
Okay, that makes sense given the themes we've been discussing.
Right, and the source explains that 1313 is considered a particularly powerful angel number or code that often appears before major life shifts or periods of accelerated growth.
It's like a divine message saying, get ready for some big changes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting to note that in the Mayan calendar, the number 13 was also linked to the ending of great cycles and the beginning of new ones.
Wow, so there's this ancient connection between the number 13 and times of transformation.
Definitely. And the source suggests that by consciously aligning with the energy of 1313 during this eclipse, we can potentially experience a quantum leap in consciousness, a significant jump in our awareness and understanding.
Wow, that sounds pretty powerful. So we should be on the lookout for this number sequence in the days leading up to the eclipse.
Absolutely. Pay attention to any synchronicities or recurring numbers. You never know what messages the universe might be sending your way.
Okay, now the source also provides a brief overview of what this eclipse might mean for each zodiac sign. It's important to note that these are just general tendencies, of course.
Right. It's always best to consult with a professional astrologer for a more personalized reading.
Absolutely. But let's touch on those general influences, starting with the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. What kind of energy might they be experiencing?
For water signs, the emphasis is on deep emotional cleansing, heightened intuition, and a potential for psychic activations. They might also experience vivid dreams or even past life memories resurfacing. It's a time to really dive deep into their emotions and allow themselves to feel everything fully.
Wow, sounds intense. What about the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius?
For fire signs, this eclipse is igniting their spiritual courage and their desire to step into their true purpose. They might feel a strong urge to break free from anything that's holding them back and pursue their passions with renewed vigor.
That sounds exciting. But are there any potential challenges for them?
Well, the source cautions fire signs against acting impulsively. They need to channel all that fiery energy in a focused and intentional way. Otherwise, they could end up burning themselves out or creating unnecessary chaos.
Good advice. Okay, what about the earth signs? Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn.
Earth signs might experience disruptions in their sense of stability and security, particularly in areas related to their finances or career. But these disruptions are ultimately opportunities for growth and transformation. They're being called to reevaluate their goals, their priorities, and their relationship with the material world.
So it's a time for them to really trust the process, even when things feel uncertain.
Exactly.
And lastly, what about the air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius?
Air signs are likely to experience a major shift in their perception and mental clarity. They might have sudden epiphanies, engage in deep and meaningful conversations, or finally uncover truths that have been hidden from them. It's a time for them to embrace new ideas and perspectives and to allow their minds to expand.
So it's a time of mental breakthroughs and new understandings.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's talk about these hidden portals that the source mentions opening up during lunar eclipses. What are they and how do they work?
Well, the source explains that these portals are essentially energetic gateways that can facilitate access to higher levels of consciousness and interdimensional wisdom. They're not physical doorways that you can walk through, but more like shifts in the Earth's energetic frequency that create openings for us to connect with other realms of existence.
Wow, that sounds pretty far out.
It is, and it's believed that certain locations like ancient temples and sacred sites act as vortexes, amplifying these energetic effects.
So if you're drawn to visit a particular place during this time, it might be because of its energetic significance.
It's possible. The source also suggests that these portals can open up internally within our own consciousness, leading to spiritual downloads, expanded psychic abilities, or even encounters with higher dimensional beings in our meditations or dreams.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. But it also sounds a bit intimidating. Are there any precautions we should take when working with these energies?
Well, the source emphasizes the importance of grounding ourselves during this time. That means staying connected to the earth and our physical bodies so we don't get swept away by these powerful energies.
Okay, good advice. And it also cautions that not all portals lead to the light. Lower vibrational energies might also be more accessible during these times, so we need to be mindful of what we're tuning into.
Exactly. It's about being discerning and setting clear, positive intentions so we can attract the highest and best energies.
So it's like we're being given a cosmic key, but we need to be careful about which doors we choose to unlock.
That's a great analogy.
Okay, now let's dive into this mind-bending concept of the illusion of time breaking. What does that even mean?
Well, the source suggests that during this eclipse, we might experience a noticeable distortion in our perception of time. Time might feel like it's speeding up, slowing down, or even disappearing altogether.
Wow, that's trippy. Why would that happen?
The source attributes this to a shift in how we perceive reality. It suggests that time isn't linear as we normally experience it, but more like a vast network of interconnected possibilities. And during powerful celestial events like this eclipse, the boundaries between these possibilities become more fluid.
So it's like we're moving between different timelines or realities.
In a way,
Yeah.
yes. And this could lead to some unusual experiences, like encountering people from our past in unexpected ways or revisiting familiar places and feeling like something has subtly changed.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. And is there anything we can do to consciously work with this energy?
The source suggests that by setting clear intentions and releasing limiting beliefs, we can potentially influence which timeline we align with. It's like we're being given a greater degree of choice in shaping our reality.
That's incredibly empowering. Yep. Now let's talk about the full moon's impact on the divine feminine and the sacred masculine. What's the key message here?
Well, the source explains that the moon is traditionally associated with the divine feminine, representing qualities like intuition, nurturing creativity, and receptivity. But this eclipse is about bringing these qualities into greater balance with the sacred masculine, which represents qualities like action logic and focused will.
So it's about finding harmony between these two polarities within ourselves and in the world?
Exactly. And it's interesting to note that the source suggests that we've been living in a world that's been dominated by the masculine for far too long, leading to imbalance and disharmony.
That makes sense. So this eclipse is part of a larger energetic shift towards restoring balance between the feminine and the masculine.
Yes, and this will likely have a profound impact on our relationships, bringing greater clarity to any existing imbalances or unhealed wounds.
So it's a time for honest self-reflection and communication in our relationships.
Absolutely. And on a personal level, this eclipse is encouraging us to embrace our full spectrum of energy, whether we identify as male or female.
Right. So if we've been suppressing our emotions or our intuition, it's a time to allow those qualities to surface and find expression.
And if we've been feeling powerless or indecisive, it's a time to step into our power and take action.
It's about finding that sweet spot, that harmonious balance between all aspects of ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay, now as we approach this eclipse, the source offers some practical advice on how to prepare. What are some of the key recommendations?
Well, it's important to remember that the energetic effects of an eclipse can linger for weeks or even months, so it's a good idea to start preparing now.
Okay, what kind of preparation are we talking about?
The source recommends cleansing our energy field through practices like taking salt baths, engaging in meditation, and decluttering our physical space.
So it's about creating a clean slate, both energetically and physically.
Exactly.
Okay, what else?
It also strongly emphasizes the importance of shadow work and emotional release. This is not a time to suppress or ignore our difficult emotions. It's a time to allow them to surface, to process them, and to release them.
Right, because if we don't deal with them consciously, they're likely to come out sideways during the eclipse.
Exactly.
Okay, and lastly, what about intention setting? How can we use the power of intention to navigate this eclipse?
Well, the source reminds us that this eclipse acts as a powerful amplifier. So whatever we focus our thoughts and intentions on is likely to manifest more quickly and powerfully.
So it's crucial to be clear about what we want to create in our lives and to visualize our desired outcomes.
Absolutely. This is a time to dream big and to trust in the universe's ability to support our highest good.
Wow, that's inspiring. Now, the source also talks about the importance of surrender. What does that mean in this context?
Well, surrender doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means releasing our need to control every outcome and trusting in a larger unfolding that's beyond our limited understanding.
So it's about letting go of our attachment to a specific outcome and allowing the universe to guide us.
Exactly. And the source warns that resisting this natural flow of change is likely to create more suffering for us.
That makes sense.
Right.
So how can we practically cultivate a mindset of surrender during this time?
Well, it starts with becoming aware of our resistance to change. Where are we holding on too tightly? Where are we afraid to let go?
Right, and then what?
Once we've identified those areas of resistance, we can start to consciously practice letting go. We can use affirmations, visualizations, or other techniques that help us to release control and trust in the process.
Okay, that sounds helpful. Now, the source also offers some specific advice on what to do and what to avoid in the 24 hours surrounding the eclipse. Let's go through those key points. What should we avoid during this energetically intense time?
Well, the first thing to avoid is making any major decisions, especially those with long-term consequences. Our emotions will be heightened and our judgment might be clouded. So it's best to wait until the energy is settled a bit before making any big moves.
Okay, that makes sense. What else should we avoid?
We should also avoid dwelling in negativity or fear-based thinking. As we've discussed, this eclipse is a powerful amplifier, so whatever we focus on will be magnified. So it's crucial to keep our thoughts and energy as positive as possible.
Okay, so no doom scrolling on social media during the eclipse.
Definitely not.
Okay, now on the flip side, what are some things we should be doing during this time?
Well, it's a great time for reflection and inner work. We can use this time to journal, meditate, or simply be in solitude to connect with our intuition and receive any guidance that might be coming through.
Okay, so it's a time to turn inward and listen to our inner wisdom.
Exactly. And it's also important to protect our energy field. We can do this by surrounding ourselves with positive influences, avoiding toxic environments, and utilizing any spiritual protection techniques that resonate with us.
Right, because we're more sensitive to energetic influences during this time, both positive and negative.
Exactly.
So it's about being mindful of our surroundings and who we allow into our space. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the overall message you're taking away from all of this information?
Well, for me, the key takeaway is that this eclipse is a powerful opportunity for growth and transformation. It's a time to let go of what no longer serves us, to embrace change, and to step into our true potential.
And even though it might feel intense or challenging at times, it's ultimately a positive and evolutionary process.
Exactly. The universe is supporting us every step of the way.
And if we feel lost or uncertain during this time, the source reminds us that we don't need to have all the answers right away. We just need to trust in the process and allow ourselves to be guided.
Exactly. We're not alone in this.
And on that note, let's leave you with this final thought from the source. You were born for this moment. You are stronger, wiser, and more powerful than you realize. The universe is calling you to rise, to expand, and to become the version of yourself you were always meant to be. This is not the end. It is a new beginning. Embrace it.
Beautiful.
Until next time.
Take care.